Everybody has their personal vices. For some people, it's alcohol. For some people, it's drugs. For some people, it's procrastination. But for me, it's sugar. Not saying that I don't procrastinate, but for me, it's definitely sugar. I would consider myself fairly to moderately addicted to sugar. Now, some people might think that addiction is kind of a strong word, but I view addiction as something that you can't control. And there are plenty of times in my life where I have not been able to control my consumption of sugar. Um, More specifically, there have been times when I've been sitting around and deciding that I'm eating too much sugar and that I need to stop. And then 3 to 4 hours later, after zero attempts to resist any kind of temptation or urge I have to eat sugar, I'm back on eating sugar. So that's why I consider it a temptation. Now, I have had some pretty successful attempts in the past to stay off of sugar. The longest I've ever gone is 40 days. But I have begun to realize that when it comes to your personal health, you really need to think long term. And even staying a year off of sugar is actually not that long in the long run. I'm 27 right now, and 1 year out of 27 is really not that much in terms of your long term effects on health. So during this year, I of course want to gain a lot of health, but I want to mostly prove to myself that I can go an entire year without eating sugar. That would be the ultimate reward. This started off by me watching a video on YouTube from some woman who wrote a memoir about going an entire year without sugar, and she did it with her family. And within her family, she has two little kids, so it was pretty bold of her. But honestly, what I mostly got from that video was not exactly techniques or tips or tricks for staying off of sugar, but just the confidence that it is possible. Just knowing that it is indeed possible to stay off of sugar for a year, that was what I needed to inspire me. If she can do it with two little kids, then I can certainly do it by myself. Now, the reason why I am doing this in the first place is for a variety of reasons. And before I mention those reasons, I want you to know that if you're trying to stay off of sugar or if you're trying to stay off any kind of addictive substance, you need to know your specific reason. You've got to discover motivation for yourself. You can't pick and choose motivation that other people have gained for them. You need to figure out what works for you. And the motivation that works for me when it comes to my health, the number one reason is emotional stability. I want my emotional stability back. Now, of course, diet is not everything in emotional stability, but when it comes to me, I think it plays a huge part. When I eat a lot of sugar, and I never eat it in moderate amounts, never, I always eat it in enormous amounts, my motivation is almost completely depleted. I don't want to get up from the couch. I don't want to do anything productive. I find no excitement in a lot of things that are pretty exciting, or at least I find no excitement in accomplishing things specifically. Like when I think of certain artistic projects that I might want to do, after slamming my body with sugar, they just don't seem that compelling. So there's one thing, the lack of motivation, which I do believe to be a bit of an emotional issue. The second one is depression. Now, I'm grateful that I have never experienced clinical depression or severe depression in the sense that I feel like I am worthless or that I feel like I can't get out of bed in the morning. What's the point? I'm very grateful that I have never gotten to that point. But I have myself experienced quite intense sadness. So I'm not really sure if you can quantify or differentiate between sadness and depression. But the point is that I've never been severely depressed, which is great. However, I do understand that a lot of sugar or an unhealthy diet can greatly contribute to it. Now, as you see in the title of this video, this is week 1, which means that I have completed 1 week of no sugar already. And even though it's only been 8 days, I can kind of feel my spirits being lifted. I woke up this morning and it was really sunny outside, and I just felt peaceful. I felt good. Like I opened up the shades. I'm like, oh, look at that nice ray of sun, and it was just it was nice. It wasn't anything earth shattering. It wasn't anything life changing, but it was just really nice. So if I can experience that after only 8 days, then hopefully I can experience many more things in the weeks to come. Also, sugar has a lot to do with anxiety. And anxiety, in my case, typically translates into anger. When I'm eating a lot of sugar, or if I'm eating a lot of junk food in general, then I get so angry at the tiniest things, and I am so much more trigger happy when I'm eating junk food than if I were not eating junk food and the exact same insult was said to me or the exact same stressful thing would happen to me. I would be so much more calm about it. So that's kind of another thing that I'm looking forward to gaining back, or at least getting it back under control during this year of not eating sugar, is having my temper back. So the number one reason why I am staying off of sugar is because I don't like feeling unmotivated. I don't like feeling sad. I don't like feeling anxious. I want that emotional stability back. So hopefully over the course of this year, the inverse of those three things will be regained to me. But the second reason why is because I didn't like what I saw in the mirror anymore. I didn't like, particularly down in my spare tire region. I didn't like, turning to the side and seeing that curve, that hump. But seriously, I wasn't okay with it anymore. I it's not that I have issues with my body in general. Like, I'm pretty blessed in that I'm fairly self confident in the way that I look and my aesthetic. But I just knew that it was more so like when I saw how much belly fat I was storing, I was like, this is not healthy. Like, you are not treating yourself how you should be treating yourself. This is not good. So it was kind of the manifestation of my thoughts when I looked at myself in the mirror, and I just didn't like that. I started to become self-conscious whenever I wore t-shirts, as I am right now. I'm kind of nervous these days about seeing video of myself or even pictures of myself if I'm wearing a t-shirt, because I know that my gut will be nice and accentuated. Is that a word? It'll be accented. And I especially don't like seeing pictures or videos of myself at the beach anymore. And I don't like that. I want to reverse it. I want to be proud of myself when I look at myself in the mirror. I want to be proud of what I've accomplished when I see pictures or videos of myself at the beach, or in pictures in general when I'm wearing clothes. And I know, of course, that staying off of sugar is not the only part of that. But working out is not a problem for me. I love working out. I enjoy the sweat and the pain and and getting stronger and all that good stuff. So working out's not a problem, but diet is absolutely a huge problem for me. So I understand that, not eating sugar is just it's a part of the equation. It's not the full equation, but I believe that it is a huge part of the equation. So number two reason, I want to like what I see in the mirror. And lastly, the number three reason why I'm doing this is just for general health. Now, this kind of ties into what I said previously with, not liking what you see in the mirror. But more and more and more and more studies that have come out have been talking about how dangerous sugar is. Like, we all know that sugar is bad for us. We've known that ever since we were children. Everyone has always known that sugar is bad for you. But now studies are coming out that it is straight up dangerous. And there have been some doctors and some dietitians who have said that it's actually a poison. And some of them have even gone so far as to say that in 30 to 40 years, we will treat sugar the way we treat tobacco, the way we treat cigarettes. They might even predict that there will be warning labels on sugar products, like Coke or candy bars, that say, like, warning, this product contains sugar, like in the way a pack of Camels, says, warning, this product contains tobacco, which would just be crazy. I mean, I cannot imagine a reality like that. But that's how they felt in the 50s with cigarettes. They couldn't imagine cigarettes being bad for you. But now, of course, you don't have to teach anybody that cigarettes are bad for you. It's just something we all know as a given fact. So sugar might be heading down that route, which is insane. But I think it's a net it's a net gain. It's a net positive for humanity. Sugar has been linked to diabetes and heart disease and liver disease and all kinds of things. Sleep problems. Like I said, I've been off of sugar for 8 days now, and my sleep is sound. Like, I'm not necessarily getting more, which is kind of odd, but it's better. The quality is better. I wake up feeling more refreshed and ready to go. And you know how you can tell, like, if you've slept shallow or deep, like, I am sleeping deeply more consistently, which is awesome. That alone might be worth staying off of sugar. But anyway, just general health. I'd like to be around for as long as possible. I'd like to see my kids grow up. I don't have kids, not right now, but I'd like to see my kids grow up. I'd like to see my grandkids grow up. I want to experience all that life has to offer. So just general health is probably the number 3 reason. I'm making this video in order to stay accountable, first of all, and second of all, to inspire. If anyone's out there that is struggling with sugar, that's sickeningly sweet and insidiously destructive stuff, then I'm here for you. Let's do it together. Let's stay on top of this, and let's gain back the health that we need. The goal is to make weekly videos. I know for a fact that I will not be faithful in that, not for lack of trying, but just because of my schedule. But if I do miss a week, then hopefully, if I'm not uploading on Monday or Sunday, then I'll upload later, Tuesday, Wednesday, or whatever. Or maybe I'll just upload a larger video that includes weeks 2 and 3, etc., etc. I started this challenge on July 4th, but I want to try and extend it just a little bit, going all the way to a family reunion that I will have in mid-July. So by the time this challenge is over, hopefully, prayerfully, I will have been off of sugar for over a year, which will be pretty incredible. So I'm excited for this, and thank you for watching, and thank you if you actually care, and we'll see what happens.